I want to talk about the police. You know, I think that I'm recognising that there are many different groups within our community that are extremely under-acknowledged, and we're very divorced from what they actually experience. Racism is a classic example. Perhaps people that identify as different genders is another classic example. But there's a group of people that do the most brutal, gruesome jobs. And I can feel the emotion welling up inside of my heart, my being. It's actually coming from down here and coming up through here and into my eyes. And my eyes are beginning to well with tears. And that to me is the sign that my being is tuning in to the work that they do and the immense service that they do. And I've spoken many times, and very recently, in particular with the way that some of the things were handled with the Tuhoi raids, as far as the inexcusable inappropriateness of that. Another story. But I want to acknowledge it so that people don't misunderstand me. But that's a very small fraction of expression. And the rest of the time, and I really learned it from working in the streets and dealing with social issues. And it wasn't until the third time that I fell over, I collapsed, burnt out, that I realised how traumatic the police work must actually be. And I'm not pretending to have any idea, honestly, what that's like. But what I am experiencing is that the more I communicate with them innocently as an individual within our community, though nevertheless officers of the justice system, and yes, there's another whole story on that, common law, etc. But I remember when I was training with Sumner Lifeboat, which was the first Western or European-based Coast Guard in the country, down in Christchurch or Sumner. And the boundaries were that if somebody jumped off a cliff and we found them, we didn't actually have to touch the body. We did not have to deal with that. We could say, well, the police are going to deal with that. We'll leave it for the police. Personally, I would never, ever have done that, because I know that for us in that role, in that capacity, it was something that we dealt with very minimally. And yet, I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe that the police on the beat, they deal with those kinds of things all the time. And they have a far higher suicide rate, they have a far higher level of trauma. And you can see the trauma playing out in their expression with the public at times. And being able to see it makes it a lot easier to have some empathy for it, It doesn't mean tolerating it, but it means having some compassion and having an understanding of where it's coming from, why it's manifesting, why it's expressing itself through that person. Yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, I shared I put a post on Facebook, and it was somebody speaking in defense of the police over in the United States, and this crazy idea of defunding the police. Something happened the other day, and I forget what it was, but it really brought to my 3 minutes 47 already. Damn. It really brought to my attention how few resources there are out there within the police. It's like, what's going on? What are they doing? Are they experiencing high level of trauma? Are they having a rest? Are they prepping for September? Because the word in the community is that September's when this coronavirus stuff is going to kick in, like the effects of it.